Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today, I pulled another one out of the bag. How? I don't know. You guys, honestly, I just click things and things happen. You just gotta keep clicking and eventually we'll create something. And that's what happened here. So I had another idea of another one of these in-home photography idea videos, which everybody's doing right now, which is pretty cool. I like it actually, and it's pretty fun. Flexes your creative muscle, does all that stuff. Yeah, today is a little different. I wanted to show you guys the before picture and what it looks like now, edited after Photoshop. I want to go through this with you guys to show you what I did in Photoshop. Let me, full disclaimer here, I'm no Photoshop expert and I know the bare minimum skills on Photoshop. I actually should probably take some classes, but like I said, just clicking and moving things around and with the bare minimum basics of Photoshop that I know, I was able to create this. Now, I did screen record the whole process. I wasn't filming like myself while I was doing the whole like edit, but I screen recorded the whole process so I can go through with you guys after and show you guys what I did kind of in a more timely manner, because this edit took me like 2 hours. So I'm gonna cut it down and make it quicker for you guys and kind of show you some of the things I did. So let's get to it. Here we go. So as you guys can see here, I took 3 photos, which was just a clean one, just one with the light hitting the couch, and then one with the light hitting my face. And then I put all 3 of them into Photoshop and I masked them together. Basically what you do is you put them in layers and then you select the masking option right there, get a brush, and you brush out parts of the photo that you don't want depending on which layer, and it creates what you call a composite. I think that's what it's called. You create a one photo with the 3 images. So what I do that, the reason I do that, so that I can keep the lighting on the couch, I can keep the lighting on my face and get rid of the light and the stand that's there so that you can't see that anymore. As you can see, I photoshopped or masked all that out. Only issue I was having is you could see the shadow of where the light wasn't hitting on the initial picture. So I kind of had to just figure that out and mess with it a little bit. Somehow I made it work. I just left it in and moved on, you know, because sometimes these things I don't know what I'm doing, and if I spend too much time on it, I'll end up looking tutorials up and stuff, and then I end up on YouTube for like 2 hours and get nothing done. So I just move on for the most part. Next thing I did was went on the interwebs, on the internet, looked up a picture of the PlayStation controller symbols or shapes. The PlayStation controller shapes, and basically what I did is I brought them in and I made each one individual. Like I cut it, I don't know these terms, you guys, oh my gosh. I pretty much made individual versions of those symbols, and I made copy and pasted a bunch of them, and I moved them around, made them look like they're gonna be in this like wave of TV brain waves. I don't know what I was going for here. Like I said, the idea was kind of there, but the edit is where I kind of get more of these ideas and start creating it. So I started putting all these together kind of like a wave, and just, you know, adjusted them, put some color on them, went into the blending basics and put some outer glow, some inner glow, made it look kind of glowy, I guess you could say. Made a group and just started, you know, putting it together right there. This whole theme was PlayStation, and, you know, people are playing more PlayStation as we are staying home. And one of my favorite games to play on the PlayStation is FIFA 19, because I'm Mexican and soccer is in my blood. So FIFA 19, FIFA 20 is one of the games that I play a lot. So I wanted to make it. I wanted to make this based off of like PlayStation and FIFA 20, blah blah blah. I looked up a picture of like FIFA, the game FIFA, and I was thinking like, you know, like a stadium. So I found the stadium kind of photo from FIFA, and again I was like, how am I gonna make this look like it's on the TV? And I was like, is there any way to warp this? And there you go, there's a warp feature in Photoshop. So I started messing with that in Photoshop. I was like, oh cool, a warp feature. And somehow, like I said, you guys, just clicking and clicking away, I made this work. I found this feature that it like divides your picture into 4 and lets you control the corners and the middle and all that. And I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not the best, but I made it work somehow. And yeah, I ended up with this, with a photo on my TV that looks like it was on the TV. I warped it. You know, you can do some magic with Photoshop. Yeah, that's crazy. So the next step, I went and looked for a picture of the very best Cristiano Ronaldo, and I did a super shitty job at extracting Cristiano Ronaldo from the background because, one, I don't really know how to do this, and two, I was getting a little anxious and wanted to finish this, and I was getting kind of lazy. So I went ahead and just did a super shitty job at extracting Cristiano Ronaldo. I flipped the orientation the opposite way, and I wanted him to stick out on my TV because who doesn't want Cristiano Ronaldo coming out of the TV at you? Like, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. So I took that picture, I put it in a screen layer mode, or whatever you want to call it. You guys, this is the worst teacher you will ever have for Photoshop. And I placed them up on that TV, you know, and cut a little bit of his legs out and started blending it again. This whole blending layer style thing, you guys can do a lot with this feature alone. Just double click on the layer and it'll bring up the layer style, and just there's drop shadows, there's glows, outer glows, inner glows. You change color of things. You can do a lot of stuff just within that. Just mess with it and you will get something. Keep clicking, just keep clicking. As Dory would say, just keep swimming. In this case, just keep clicking. So I started messing with that a little more. Next thing I did was I wanted to make this like PlayStation symbols a little more interesting than just the symbols there. So I was like, oh, well, I just learned how to do this warp feature with the TV screen. What if I can create like another layer of all those symbols and then warp those to make it look kind of 3D-ish, like it's spinning and going into the TV. Let's try that out. I made a group of all the PlayStation symbols, all the X's and triangles, merged them together, and then I started warping it, did all this stuff to it, like made it look all crazy with the warp feature, and then I blended it. So it looks like it's not so prominent in the photo, but it's within the main, like, wave. And you guys, this thing came out pretty cool. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I did it twice. I did another one and warped it the opposite way, so it looks like it's going around the main, I don't know what to call this, vortex of PlayStation shapes. I don't know what to call this, but it looks fucking cool. So I was stoked with it. And then you just blend it in with screen mode or overlay or whatever, and that's what you get. Next step was kind of cleaning up the photo a little. I was photoshopping out some of these like modems and cables that were there. Again, I am not that great at it, so I did a shitty job, and I was like, how am I gonna blend this? So I started just using the brush and brightening things up and darkening other things, dodging and burning, and it blends it in. With the actual brush tool, you can actually make things glow a little more. The same thing, you just gotta change the style of layer to like overlay or screen or whatever you want, and it will blend it in. You can make it look like lighting and all that. So that's what I started doing. After that, I got the idea of putting like, I've seen a lot of these photographers putting these like, it looks like dust or something kind of floating around the subjects that are floating or flying or whatever. They put like these little dust particles. So I don't really have that, but I have these brushes that are like paint splats or something like that. So I use that. I use the same concept. I was like, alright, I'm just gonna put them in there, blend them in like on screen mode or whatever, and make them look cool within the same color. Got a couple of white ones and all that, and I got that, and that's what I got towards the end. Now the photo looks kind of just regular. There's just like blue and purples and all that in the middle, but the rest of the room is not making sense. So that's when we export it and take it into Lightroom. And I was trying out some of my presets, some of my settings that I already have. I was even trying some of the old Peter McKinnon settings, but at the end of the day, I went with one of the ones I have. I did a little bit of tweaking on it, changed some colors, cropped the picture in. So, and then your boy had to clean his face up because your boy hasn't slept. And your boy been looking haggard as hell, so you know you gotta do a little cleaning up, a little face tune. Hey, a lot of people do that, so don't hate on me. I just wanna, you know, I wanna look good, you know what I'm saying? So I cleaned up my face a little, did a little color grading on the whole picture, and we ended up with this. So that's what that is. I mean, this, honestly guys, this is how you learn. This is how I learned a lot of my stuff. This is how I learned how to shoot. This is how I learned how to do, I throw myself into the deep end and I go for it. Like, that's how I learn. Of course, sometimes I look up tutorials. Most of the time I look up tutorials, but something like this, I literally have an image in my head. I'm like, what can I do? How can I do this? And I just start clicking. Like, you guys, you gotta just start doing it. Like, start clicking. Eventually you will get somewhere, and if you don't, you might not get to where you want to get, but you will learn something along the way. Maybe a new feature, maybe like the warp mode, something. I'm pretty sure there's a way easier way of doing everything I just did. But when you learn, sometimes you gotta take the hard, long way. The hard, long way. You learn that way, though. For me, at least, I'm a visual and hands-on learner. So doing this is like, this is how I learn. So if you guys haven't watched all my last videos, I've done a bunch of like home photography, quarantine, photo videos. Same thing. I just have an idea, but I don't know how I'm gonna execute it. And once I bring it into Photoshop, that's when I figure out things and learn, and I've failed a lot of times and I've succeeded sometimes. Maybe this looks terrible to someone, but to me, I'm like, man, I didn't know I was gonna be able to do that shit. Like, so I mean, I give myself props. You know, you gotta give yourself props sometimes for trying at least. And that's what happened. And so you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Maybe you learned something off of here, like showing you what I did. Like I said, I'm not a Photoshop teacher, but I can teach you what I did. At least show you, maybe not teach you, show you. Maybe that will inspire you to make something and create, and just keep clicking, you guys. Trust me, keep clicking. Alright guys, see you guys in the next video. Bye!